Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. David here. Thanks for coming back for another video, or welcome if it's your first one. Thanks for coming. How are you doing? Are you doing okay? I'm doing okay. It's Golden Week has just started here, so that's a bit of an extra time off for me. Although it's raining and horrible today, so I decided to stay inside and do one of my public information videos. So as you can see, we're already in PowerPoint land. I decided I was going to introduce the Osaka Metro, which is the main municipal subway system for Osaka City. This is very useful for getting around, especially for tourists. They've got special tourist passes, and also for people who live there. I used to live in Abiko, which is kind of South Osaka. I used the Midosuji line all the time, so that was very useful for me. I don't use it so much now because I'm on the JR Loop line, which is useful for work, but if I want to go anywhere else, Osaka Metro is an incredibly useful and versatile way of getting around Osaka City. So I'm going to talk about that. I've done some videos before that might be interesting for you. For example, the how to buy a ticket on the Metro. Kind of if you're worried about using the ticket machines, it's very easy, don't worry. But I made a video about that. And if you're interested in, I don't know, urban train systems, then I also made a video about the different train systems in Osaka, because there's quite a lot of them. Osaka Metro just being one of them. I'll touch on a couple of them during this presentation, but that's not the focus today. And also, if you're looking for sightseeing spots, then of course check out my best 50 places to visit in Osaka. That will help me pay the bills. It's not helping me pay the bills at all because I can't monetize this channel, but please help me out, especially by subscribing to the channel. We're getting closer to 800 subscribers now. That might have already happened, who knows. So definitely subscribe, and since you're there already, why don't you like this video? That'll help me a lot. It'll help you as well, help you get some good recommendations of more of my videos to watch maybe. And leave a comment. Are there any questions you've got about the Metro? I'll help you out with those. And also share this video. If you know anybody who's nervous about traveling to Japan, then please send them my way. I'll help them out. So I'm going to get right into it. So I'm going to head over to my slides now. So this is the Osaka Metro. I love this this logo, by the way. It looks quite simple, but this was a fairly new logo. The Osaka Metro became its own separate company about 5 years ago, and they designed this new logo. As you can see, it's an M, but it's a corkscrew. So when it turns on its side, you can see the O, so Osaka Metro. I love that. I don't know why, it makes me so happy. And also they've got an e-Metro app you can download to get some information about the lines, the e-Metro. But again, they've used this logo to make a kind of a cursive E, which I was just like chef's kiss to that one. I love that. So here we go. It's Osaka Metro. What do you need to know? Well, this is a rather intimidating route map. We've got 9 lines even, serving all of Osaka City. I don't think it goes outside Osaka City, but it does hand over to some other train companies that will take you outside the city limits. At present, we've got 123 stations, which is rather a lot, with the promise of some more coming soon. We've just had a couple of new ones on the Kita Osaka Kyuko line, which is not Osaka Metro. But I think next year, when the Osaka Expo starts, we're going to get a new one on the Chuo line in Yumeshima. I don't know what that's going to be called, but well, let's see. As I said, Osaka City is the focus of Osaka Metro, but it does hand over and share the tracks with some other train companies. So for example, the Kita Osaka Kyuko hands over from the Midosuji line. The Hankyu line takes over from the Sakaisuji line, and the Kintetsu line takes over from the Chuo line. Oh, I'm testing my memory today. So we've got a lot of lines to get through, so let's start with one of the big ones. First of all, we've got the Midosuji line. This is the main, like central north-south subway line on the Metro, and it's the oldest as well. It started in 1933, it's coming up for its century. It's got quite a few stations going from Esaka in the north down to Nakamozu in the south. Is that where it goes out of Osaka City? Maybe that's Sakai City, I'm not sure. Okay, my local geography is a little bit rusty, but like I said, there is a Kita Osaka Kyuko railway link to Mino. They've just had an extension up there. So you can take one train, any Midosuji line train, well not any of them, some of them stop a bit earlier, but they can go all the way up to Mino Kayano station, which is the new terminal station. But some places to note on the Midosuji line, you might be using this a lot, especially if you are commuting via Umeda. But one of the most important places is the Shin Osaka Shinkansen terminal. So the Shinkansen is relatively new and it couldn't go right through the middle of Osaka like some cities. So they've made Shin Osaka Station to the north. That's the other side of the Yodogawa River. So please take that for the bullet train. Umeda is the real central northern hub. As you can see, there's the Umeda Sky building in the picture. So you can basically connect to almost anywhere by Umeda. There's lots of other train lines going through there. There's the Hankyu line, the Hanshin line, the what else? JR line, of course. I think there's probably some more as well, but I've lost them. So Umeda, yeah, that's probably the most important station in the whole network, I think. Going south, we've got Yotsubashi Station, which is where Nakanoshima is. It's a nice little island in the middle of the river. It kind of splits into two rivers. There's the nice red brick town hall there, and then Rose Garden as well. It's a nice place to hang out. That's also alternative if you want to go to Kitahama. That's the closest station to that on the Midosuji line. Going south, we've got Shinsaibashi and Namba. Shinsaibashi famous for a lot of shopping, big brand stores are there, and Namba, which is the southern hub of Osaka, which is also connected to the Nankai line, the Kintetsu line, and the Hanshin line. I think that's right. Yeah, Hanshin line has two branches. Yeah, very complicated, but very useful. I just made a video about whether Namba is useful or not to visit, so yeah, check out that video as well. Is Namba worth going to? Between Shinsaibashi and Namba is Dotonbori, which is one of the most famous sightseeing spots in Osaka, so check that out. Going south, we've got Tennoji as well, another important hub on the loop line. It's also on the like the Hanmo line, which goes down to Kansai Airport. And Abe no Harukasi is there, the tallest building in Osaka. It used to be the tallest in Japan, but it's number 2 now, sadly. And if you go all the way down to Nagai, Nagai Park also has the Team Labs kind of outside botanical garden light display things. That's very interesting. There's also Nagai Stadium, Yanmar Stadium, which has a lot of international acts performing there. So Midosuji line, very important. Definitely check that out. Probably you'll be using that a lot. Now let's turn to the Tanimachi line now. This was built in the 60s, and I think it's the one with the most stations on it. I'm not sure, but it's got a rather bent route through Osaka, starting at Dainichi Station in the north, all the way down to Yao City, Yao Minami in the south, which I guess is not Osaka City, so yeah, it does go out. We say within Osaka Prefecture, but here we are. Important places along there, there's Tenjinbashi Rokuchome, which is where the Tenjinbashi Suji Shotengai is. That's the longest covered shopping arcade in Japan. That's interesting. It's got Osaka Tenmangu there as well. Nagasaki Chuo is an interesting kind of retro place to visit. There's got a lot of old-fashioned buildings, the wooden buildings, but they're being kind of converted into like stylish cafes, but trying to preserve the atmosphere of the area. So it's a really interesting place, kind of hipster vibe. Tanimachi Yonchome is one of the ways you can get to Osaka Castle. So that will take you to the southwest corner of Osaka Castle Park. Shitenoji Mae Yuhigaoka, it's a bit of a mouthful, but that's right next to Shitenoji Shrine. So there's a temple, there's a shrine, there's a nice tower there. That's one of the oldest shrines in Japan, I think. I don't know if that's lies or not, but it's very old and very nice, so definitely check out the Shitenoji temple. And also Tennoji, that's another way to get to Tennoji. You can see the Abe no Harukasi in the building, in the photo there. Yeah, very nice place to visit. There's Tenshiba, which is Tennoji Park right next to the station, so yeah, that's a very nice place for picnics. And also Tennoji Zoo is there. So that's the Tanimachi line. I don't use it very often because it's not especially convenient for where I live, but yeah, definitely useful if you want to try some of the lesser known parts of Osaka. Now let's move on to the Yotsubashi line. Yotsubashi line is kind of like a sister line to the Midosuji. It also runs north-south and starts in Umeda, Nishi Umeda Station, which is just on the west side of it. So that might be useful for you if you're visiting Umeda, depending on which part of Umeda you want to go to. Going south, we've got Higobashi Station, which is close to the National Museum of Art in Osaka. Is it the National Museum? There's a big art museum there, and right next to it there's a science museum with a nice planetarium as well. So I recommend those if it's a rainy day. Honmachi, there's not a huge amount to do there in Honmachi, but I wanted to mention it because it's kind of like the center of Osaka, really. It's on the Midosuji line, it's on the Yotsubashi line, it's also along the Chuo line. So it's a kind of central hub. You can use that a lot for changing trains, especially if you're going from the north-south lines to the east-west lines and vice versa. It's also one of the ends of the Midosuji illuminations, so if you don't want to go to crowded Namba for the illuminations, you can go to Honmachi instead. And it's also connected to Namba. If you want to go to JR Namba, JR Namba station is not particularly convenient, but if you're going there from the metro, I strongly recommend using the Yotsubashi line because the Yotsubashi Namba is a lot closer. So there we go. This does go all the way down south to Suminoi Koen in the south of Osaka. I'll mention that again in a moment. I don't want to steal my lines from another place. But yeah, basically just south of Namba there's a station called Daikokucho, which has both Midosuji and Yotsubashi lines together. After that they kind of diverge, and the Yotsubashi line goes kind of southwest into Osaka Bay. So this is kind of useful for commuting from southwest Osaka. So there we go, that's another one of the old lines. Not many stations though, I think. Okay, another main line is the Chuo line. Chuo means central, which means it goes east-west right through the middle, going from Cosmo Square in Osaka Bay to Nagata Station in the east. So Cosmo Square is where the immigration office is. There's also the big tower there. I forgot the name of it. It's not Cosmo Tower, is it? I feel like Cosmo Tower might be from some RPG game. Gonna catch a legendary Pokemon there, I think. But there we go, yeah, Cosmo Square, useful for immigration. Osaka Core Station, right next to it is where the Osaka Aquarium, the Kaiyukan, is located. Also Tenpozan, which is right next to it, which is a kind of entertainment area. There's a big Ferris wheel. There is a kind of shopping food court area. There's a Legoland as well. There's a museum next to it as well, so that's a kind of nice touristy area. If you want to spend one day there, that might be nice. I put Tanimachi Yonchome on there again, which I said before on the Tanimachi line information. That's the southwest corner of Osaka Castle Park, so that might be useful for you to visit Osaka Castle. Otherwise you can keep going to Morinomiya, which is where I live. That's the southeast corner of the park. That's also on the loop line, so that's a good connecting station. But of course I like Morinomiya a bit more. I think it's a nicer way to get into the park as well, so definitely go to Morinomiya instead. But don't make it too crowded because I'll get grumpy. So, before we move on, the Chuo line from Nagata, it keeps going east, but it hands over the control of the rails to the Kintetsu Keihana line. I think that goes as far as Gakenmae, something like that, somewhere in Nara. It doesn't go all the way to Nara Station, but you can change trains at Ikoma. That's pretty easy to change trains there, so you might have to dash. It's not very smooth transition. Okay, that's the Chuo line. Now the Sennichimae line. Like I said, most of the lines go north-south or east-west, but Sennichimae takes a cheeky right-angle turn and goes all the way from Noda in the northwest to Minami Tatsumi in the southeast. Can't get my bearings. Yeah, Noda Hanshin, of course that has links with the Hanshin line too, so you can change there. I don't really use Sennichimae line very long, but it is... I can't talk today. I don't use the Sennichimae line very much, but it is quite a good way of connecting to other lines. I think Sennichimae line, it crosses over with 7 of the lines. So the only one it doesn't cross over is with the Nanko Port Town line. So very convenient. You're going to find a connection somewhere. This does go through Nishi Nagahori, which is kind of like a slightly, well, it's still quite urban, but it's a bit more relaxed, and there's a nice river going through there, and there's some nice stylish cafes. It goes through Namba as well, so that's another route to get into Namba. Nipponbashi, the next station from Namba, that's useful for excuse me, that's useful for Denden Town. If you want to get some of your otaku goods, your retro gaming, or you want to go to a maid cafe or something like that, then go to Nipponbashi. And also Tsuruhashi, that's also on the loop line, that might be convenient, but it is also the home of the kind of Korean town, so you can go to Korean restaurants, get some yakiniku. That's the picture there, that's Tsuruhashi. It's kind of interesting subculture of Osaka. There is another way to get to this area, but I'll talk about that soon. So that's the Sennichimae line. What do we got next? We've got the Sakaisuji line. This is another north-south one, but it's slightly east of the main central area. Goes all the way from Tanimachi 6-丁目, which I mentioned before. That has the big Shotengai, the covered arcade, and Osaka Tenmangu. If you go south, you can go to Kitahama, which is kind of like a retro area of Osaka, kind of retro business area. That's close to Nakanoshima as well. It's a nice place to take a picnic if you come on a nice weather day. You just want like a chill out day, that's a good place. Nipponbashi I just talked about, that's where Denden Town is. Chuo station is quite useful to get to Shinsekai, which is the real kind of Showa era Osaka. So you can see Tsutenkaku there, that's the tower there. And there's lots of nice retro looking neon signs. Definitely go to Shinsekai if you visit Osaka for a bit of retro flavour. Do I have to say retro every time? I feel like I need some new vocabulary. Yeah, it's nice. It's got a nice view as well when you come out of the station, so I recommend that. And if you keep going to Dobutenmai station, that is where Tennoji Zoo is. That's another way to get there from, well, apart from going through Tennoji. So that's the Sakaisuji line. This is another one that shares its track with another company. So the Hankyu line takes over when we go north. So north of Tenjinbashi Suji 6-丁目, there's the Hankyu, I forgot which line it is, but there's a couple of routes. They go off to Kyoto and other parts of northern Osaka. So use the Sakaisuji line if you want to go to Kyoto and you don't want to change, you don't want to go to a busy station. Okay, another mouthful. We've got the Nagahori hang on, we'll try that again. We've got the Nagahori Tsurumi-ryokuchi line. This is one of the newer lines from the 90s. It's got a nice kind of panpipe jingle when the trains come into. This is another vaguely east-west one, starting from Taisho. I think Taisho is on the loop line, I think so. But that's one of the big old stations, all the way down to Kadama Minami Station, which I believe links up with the monorail. Yeah, it's kind of like an alternative to the Chuo line in some respects. We've got Dome Mae Chiozaki Station, which is where the Kyocera Dome is. So if you're coming for a big baseball game or concert, you might need to use that one. You can also get there by the Hanshin line, but yeah, here we are, it's alternatives. This is another way to get to Shinsaibashi as well, which is like the downtown brand goods area. Lots of places to eat out as well. Morinomiya, like I said, this is where I'm from. This is a good place to go to Osaka Castle Park, very convenient. Also, Kyobashi is a bit of a hub station too. This is on the loop line. It's also on the Keihan line, which goes off all the way off to Kyoto. I recommend the Keihan line if you're going to Kyoto. I think it's really convenient and I like the trains, they're very nice. And if you keep going almost to the end, you can get to Tsurumi-ryokuchi station, which is where Tsurumi-ryokuchi Park is. This is the place where they had, I think, a flower expo during the 90s. Was it during the 2000s? I'm not sure. Anyway, they had a flower expo. There's a beautiful big park there. You can see the big windmill with some tulips. They have seasonal flowers. They've got cherry blossoms. They've got a botanical garden, like a tropical flower house. Lots of things to do there. It's a nice place out of town if you want a bit of a rest and see a bit of nature. So that's the Nagahori Tsurumi-ryokuchi line. Don't know why they don't have an abbreviation for that. Okay, I think this is the last one. No, it's not. This is the Imazatosuji line. Yeah, I don't know a lot about this. This is the newest line. It's not even 20 years old. This is even further east, going north and south, going from Itakano station to Imazato station. I use this sometimes to get to my local ward office when I have to get my paperwork done. This is more of a commuter train, or like a, what was I going to say, suburban transit line. It does connect up to a couple of other lines on the way, the Tanimachi line, the Nagahori Tsurumi-ryokuchi line, and the Chuo line, and finishes in Imazato, which is on Kintetsu. So useful for something. I didn't really know much about it, so I had to do a bit of research. I might do a video about that. There we go, that's that windmill again. So Shinmori Furuichi station is close to the Tsurumi-ryokuchi park. So check that out, that's an alternative way to get there. And Ikuno, which is another way to get to the Korean town and close to Tsuruhashi. So it's kind of alternative routes, I suppose. I heard there's a bird sanctuary there too. There's a nice station near the Yodogawa River as well. So check out the Imazatosuji line. I need to check that out one day. And the last one, here we are, finally. We made it to the new tram, the Nanko Port Town line. This gets, I put these in, not in order of age, but I put them in order of the line numbers. I don't think anyone ever uses the line numbers really, but it's a way of ordering them, I suppose. The new tram was opened in the 80s. It's not really that new then, it's over 40 years old. It is also an automated kind of monorail type thing. I don't know if it's a monorail, but it's automated anyway. Quite a small train as well, but it just takes you around the Osaka port area from Cosmos Square. As you can see, the Murder Dome there. It's not really the Murder Dome, that's the abandoned Maritime Museum. So it's a bit of a walk from the station, but check it out if you want to see some abandoned museums. I guess that'll be convenient for the expo coming soon as well, because Cosmos Square is really close to Yumeshima. It's also got the Trade Center Maya station, which is where the ATC and Intex Osaka is held. There's like a conference center. The ferry terminal, if you're taking the ferry out to Shikoku or Kyushu. And also Suminoe Koen, like I said, the end of the Yotsubashi line links up there. So it's a kind of a weird loop really, with the Chuo line links up at, finishes at Cosmos Square, and the Yotsubashi line finishes at Suminoe Koen. I tried this for the first time last year because I met one of my friends who lives near Suminoe Koen. It's kind of interesting. You can, if you're interested in the boat race, British people, this is not like the Oxford-Cambridge boat race. The boat race is like a speedboat race thing that you bet on. It's a bit like betting on the horses. So there's a big station right there. If you sit on the train, you can actually see right into the arena for the boat race. So that's kind of interesting. So there we go. That's the new tram, or the Nanko Port Town line, as it's sometimes known. Okay, I think that's all of the lines finally. Whew. So just to wrap things up, I wanted to show you which lines do I recommend for each of these tourist spots. So for Umeda, you're spoiled for choice really, but the Midosuji line and the Yotsubashi line are pretty useful. I think the Tanimachi line goes to Umeda as well. I just wanted to choose two for each place. Namba, same answer actually. The Midosuji line and the Yotsubashi line, they both go north-south, go right through both of those places. Like I said, if you want downtown Namba, I think Midosuji line is better, but if you want JR Namba, then go to the Yotsubashi line, I think. Osaka Castle has a few options too. There's the Chuo line, which stops at Tanimachi Yonchome and the Morinomiya as well. Tanimachi line and, was it the Sennichimae line? I forgot the other one. They stop at Tanimachi Yonchome as well. Shinsekai, the kind of retro area, the Midosuji line will take you to Dobotenmai station, as will the Sakaisuji line. No, it won't. Hang on. Does it? Yes, it does. I'm getting lost now. Yeah, so Dobotenmai station is good, but Sakaisuji also goes to Chuo station. Like I said, that's a nice. I think that's a nice way to get there. Kaiyukan, the aquarium, take the Chuo line. That's kind of the only option really. Denden Town, the otaku hub. That's on the Sennichimae line and the Midosuji line. Oh no, it's not on the Midosuji line, but Nipponbashi is on the Sennichimae line, and Namba is on the Midosuji line, so they're both fairly easy to get to from there. Tennoji, again the Midosuji line or the Tanimachi line will get you there. Shinosaka for the bullet train, Midosuji will do you nicely. In fact, I think that's the only one you can use to get to Shinosaka, apart from using JR. Itami Airport, you can't get there by the Osaka Metro, but you can take the monorail from Sennichimae station. So again, take the Midosuji line to Osaka, keep going up to Sennichimae, and then change to the monorail. And if you're going to Kansai Airport, I recommend using the Midosuji line. You can either go to Namba and take the Nankai line, or you can take the Midosuji line to Umeda and take the JR line all the way down. I think Tennoji. Also, you can take the Rapid Express, Limited Express, down to Kansai Airport. So I hope that's useful. If there's somewhere else you want to go to, please ask me. I'll help you out. Is that the end? Where's my thing not moving? Come on, there we go. So thanks for watching all the way to the end. That took a bit longer than I thought. It's going to take forever to do these subtitles. But thanks for watching. Definitely use the Osaka Metro. Watch those other videos I said about how to buy a ticket or how to get around the other train systems. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. That would help me a lot. And yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. Hope that was interesting. And take care. See you next time. Bye bye.